Hello, hello. It's DNN Dave. I hope you guys are doing well, and gals, and all of you wonderful people out there in the DNN community, land, world, atmosphere, existence. It's been a minute since I've been on air. I've missed you guys. I've been dreaming, though. I've been dreaming about things to kind of content ideas, to bring to you guys. Been thinking about things like cool technical solutions and geeky stuff. And I don't know, I've also been thinking about some of the really interesting and cool and brilliant community members that are out there and introducing you to them because, you may not know a lot of the people that are out there and involved in DNN, and I'd love an opportunity to present them to you and help you to get to know them a little bit more, understand a little bit more about their skills, what their passions are. One of the things about this community that I love so much, and I guess it's why I've stuck around really so long, it's beyond just having a really cool technical solution or platform to build websites off of and applications and cool stuff like that. It's really the way the community operates and behaves. The community was kind of established on this abundance principle idea where, you just help people. You jump in, help people. You don't want anything in return for that. Now, don't get me wrong. There's commerce in this community. There are great vendors out there that build incredible modules and extensions and solutions on top of DNN. There are really cool integrators that are out there that help you as a client or help you with your clients to develop really cool solutions for them. There are theme builders, there are module builders, there are just some cool stuff. There's all kinds of open source stuff too. But I digress. To get back to it, the abundance principle. There's so many people that are willing to help in this community. And, whether it's on a Facebook page or a community forum on dnncommunity.org, or whether it's in the DNN Open Help Slack workspace. You may not have known about that one, but if you get a chance, check that one out. Do a Google search on it. One of the guys that is always there to try to help, whether he knows the answer or not, I want to introduce him to you today. I want you, if you don't know him, then this will be your chance to get to know him. It'll give you a chance to get to know his company and what they do. But if you do know him, maybe you'll learn some things you didn't know about him. Maybe he will share that he does something and his company does something that you had no idea that they did. Anyway, that guy always jumps in with either an answer or tries to go and figure out an answer. I don't think the guy ever sleeps, honestly. He's always there, like responding to stuff. So anyways, without further ado, I wanted to introduce you all to Jeremy Farrance. Jeremy, welcome. I'm so glad you're hanging out with me on this fine Saturday evening.
Thanks, Dave. I am honored to be here and a little overwhelmed with that expansive introduction. I don't think I can. Well, we'll see how it goes.
You're such a humble guy. You're so, you know, I'm just here to help. I don't know much, but my gosh, like 40% of all answers that get answered out there is coming from you, dude. Like you're bringing it. You're bringing the heat. Well,
Thanks.
what drives you to be involved in this community, Jeremy? Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of a little bit about the history that you have with DNN and why you're even around still. Like, what is it that drives you?
Yeah, that's wow, ranging. That's far back. So, um, playing with it was probably around 2004 or 5, DNN 4 maybe, and was working at a company, kind of getting frustrated with the whole boss type thing, and decided to do my own company. And at first we were doing other things. DNN wasn't the focus of the company, but by around 2011, DNN was front and center. We were building websites, doing advanced designs, doing a lot of really interesting stuff. We went to DNN World in 2012.
That was a good one.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun there. So the name of the company is Accuraty. We're based out of Champaign, Illinois. Always have been here so far, and floated between 8 and 11 people over the years since around 2012. The majority of our projects are on DNN, but we do all kinds of, we've done apps, we've done database work, hosting, wide variety, expression engine. There was a Drupal one once, victim of Drupalgeddon, by the way, and all kinds of stuff. So tend to have fun. A lot of good employees here, and it helps not having a boss, for me at least. And I try to make sure my employees don't feel like they need to go start their own company.
I appreciate you explaining that. And I'll go ahead and apologize. We are having a few little audio glitches here and there. I apologize. I think something is taxing my machine, even though nothing else is running except for this. But I apologize for that. But I'm going to let it roll because there's still pieces of this that you'll get a lot of value out of. Jeremy, I'm going to flip over and show your company website here. And you were explaining a little bit about kind of how, your humble beginnings and stuff of that and your team and all that. Your website out here says that you do kind of a wide range of things. Everything from website design, and e-commerce and content management solutions and mobile website design. That's a lot. So, like, tell me a little bit. Like, do you have a sweet spot, or is it kind of just really all across the board, and you guys do it all?
Less e-commerce lately, but otherwise all of those are still prominent. Hosting has become more lately, and apps has returned back to the front. We used to do mobile apps back in the Windows Phone days, and all the way back in 2011, we were doing very early phone apps. That went by the wayside, but it's come back pretty strong lately. And so yeah, a lot has changed. We do a lot of different things. Yeah,
I
all four
noticed.
of those are there except e-commerce. That's not as much lately.
Okay, so now you guys don't. You're not focused solely on DNN though, right? It looks like you also dabble in some other content management platforms there as well. I mean, would you say that DNN is your kind of main focus or your choice, tool of choice, or is it just kind of, in the mix with a bunch of other great tools as well?
DNN's clearly the first choice. It's probably in the 50 to 60% range on projects still. WordPress is second, and then things just get weird. Goes all over the map. Depends on the type of client. If it's the type of client we like and they want to work in a technology that we feel we can do well in, we'll jump right in. So
Gotcha. So
pretty
I
open to
noticed
stuff.
I noticed Drupal here. Do you have clientele that's in the educational sector, or is that kind of the prominent use of that, or is it other types as well?
No, that was exactly where the one Drupal site was. Same
Oh, the
thing with
one.
Joomla.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah,
then Joomla, same thing. University of Illinois,
yeah. I
big
noticed
client, the
they're
big Joomla project.
somehow they've gotten a fairly large part of that market share there. So I usually see that pop up and everything. So,
Yeah.
so you said DNN is kind of your tool of choice when it comes to sites and everything. Are you using DNN in any like obscure ways these days, or is it pretty standard kind of website focused and application focused on there?
We've got some interesting ones, like odd stuff too. We use DNN as a tool to pull information off the factory floor. There's this software called Wonderware, and
Hmm.
DNN reaches into Wonderware, pulls out all these obscure tag values, and then we use SQL, 2Sexy, and a few other things to build them into nice reports that people can log into and look up online. This is for a big company, Owens Corning, and it also sends really nicely formatted emails at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. We also have DNN feeding information into apps so that people can get into DNN on the back end and edit and add new information, change FAQs, change locations, change providers, and the app updates instantly because it's all feeding from a nice web API, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Fun stuff.
Nicely. So not your standard cookie cutter kind of usage of it there.
Yeah, no, I like the unusual projects. Anything that has a lot of data tends to be my favorite. So,
Nice, nice, nice. Now, I mean, I hate to like single out a few here, but I do remember back, I don't know how many years ago it was, you guys were involved in the Bell website, the racing helmets company. Is there anything that you can kind of talk about that publicly and some of the things that you guys did there? Or
yeah, that was one of our favorite e-commerce projects. We built that on hotcakes. One of the interesting things that happened there, though, is they changed their commerce, the stuff that was running in-house on their systems to some company in Europe who the name is escaping me right now.
mm,
And eventually hotcakes couldn't adapt and there was already a Magento, I think it was Magento adapter. So they, about 18 months ago, completely switched web platforms. So
oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
that's
it was very sad to see them go. Favorite client, still talk to the owner on occasion. So
sad pandas, but that's okay. That happens. Companies evolve and their needs change, so they have to adapt to them. But I remember that being a pretty big site for you guys.
there was so many cool things on there. We actually had a company in Canada photograph the helmets so they could rotate in 3D. It was cool stuff.
That is really neat. Jeremy, I'm gonna kind of hit the rewind button here just a little bit. And like, what was your first introduction to DNN, and why did it stand out to you?
Wow, that's hard. I was really interested in Microsoft stuff because I'd come from the Amiga community. If anybody knows what that is, all the way back in the 80s, I was using a product called Superbase. As the Amiga went away and I was forced to get into Windows for a job I was at, the next thing was Microsoft Access. That led to Microsoft SQL. That led to e-commerce projects on, does anyone remember Site Commerce 3.0 from Microsoft?
Site commerce. Wow, that's a blast from the
Yeah.
past.
So those things through about 2002, 2003 were in my past, and SQL was my favorite tool at the time. And websites started coming up at a new job I had in 2004. And I tried DNN because it was on ASP.NET and it seemed to have all the toys that I liked and was interested in. And I was doing stuff in Visual Studio, so I thought I could edit it and change it and never did that. But anyhow, that's where DNN started. And then it drifted away for a little bit as I started the company, but then we came back around to it and it has been the center of things for quite a while.
Hmm. Did you start your company to be a DNN shop, or do you even
No,
consider yourself really a DNN shop, or are you more of a, just an agency that happens to use DNN? How do you kind of view your company?
hard to answer. Somewhere in between those two views, it was not started to be a DNN shop.
Mm,
That's for sure. But we always went with the tools that helped us build the products that we wanted to do, the things we wanted to accomplish for our clients. And sure enough, DNN kept being there when we needed it. So, and we got good at it.
that's cool. I'm going to ask you to tell me a little bit about your team here, because I mean, I don't know if this is up to date or anything, but you have how many people in the company now, and Kind of what roles are they?
7 or 8. It's in, oh wow! Look, my picture didn't load. Look at
I
that.
shall reload it again because I think that's actually a blip on my side that I did. Sorry about that.
All right, this is out of date. I'm there, the big picture in the upper left.
Oh, you're the
But
coffee drinker, dude. Okay. Oh, coffee brewer. There you are.
yeah,
Nice.
um, most of these people are still here in some way or other. The person in the upper right, Josh, is one of our lead front end developers, really great at all kinds of JavaScript and CSS and does all kinds of interesting things and adds a lot of those elegant interactive animations to our projects that really makes them feel modern.
It's a cute
And
kiddo there. He decided to invite his kid to the shoot, huh?
you have no idea, that kid is amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Love it. I love seeing that.
Two of the key people are not even in there. We've got one of the lead developers now is Jared.
Okay.
He's been here, I think, over a year. And there's also designer Brittany. She's not up there, but John's still around part time. Lucia there in the middle right, kind of an intern who turned into an ongoing part time employee. Bottom row's kind of the businessy side of things, accounting, finance. The two lower left ones aren't here anymore.
Okay. So tell me this because, like, I like to ask this when you got a company that's got so many people and diverse team members and different skill sets to bring. Like, what stands out in your mind? And like, if you were to put yourself in the shoes of somebody, a client that's looking for a team to work with, why would they choose you guys? And what is it that you would bring to the table that you think offers a bit of a unique experience for the client that would really set you apart from some of the others?
Enthusiasm and experience come to mind first. A lot of the times when we meet with clients, we have stuff to show off that is very similar to their needs. So, pretty easy to get ingratiated with those types of things and show them the pieces and parts of the project they want to build. We've already done something like it before, so the experience comes into play. And I think when we show off those things and talk about them with clients, the enthusiasm comes across.
Hmm.
It's hard not to be enthusiastic. We do a lot of fun stuff.
I noticed at the top it was talking a bit about your process. Well, I'm sorry, it was on another page that I was looking at. Where was that at? Talking a little bit about your process here. Do you we see this on a lot of agency sites, right? It's the discover, plan, build, that kind of thing. It's all cute and everything, but like, is this something you live, eat, breathe in the company? And if so, like, how does that translate, for a client and their experience with you on a project?
It's interesting. All those things are still there. And I have to tell you one little note about those 4 boxes. I tried so hard to get them all to start with the letter D. It was discover, deploy, develop, and for some reason I never got 4 of them, and so it went back to this. But yeah, all those pieces are part of it, and they come across. Each project's different, though. Some of them require a lot of learning, a lot of new stuff. Some projects require quite a bit of creativity and design. Um, it's different every time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's
Did,
not many are easy. That's one common thing.
no, no, they're not. I mean, and each project has a unique aspect to it as well, right? It's never just I just need a website, just something simple.
Yeah, it's interesting too because some of the ones I'm personally most proud of or have the coolest database work aren't good ones to show off. They don't look good. No
Yeah.
one paid for any design work and nobody ever was interested in the public side of things. So,
Yeah, that's interesting how sometimes you can get some of these incredibly complex or interesting ways to solve these technical challenges, but it's hard to show it off.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look great or whatever. Now, do you consider your agency a design agency? I mean, like, are you kind of a traditional agency, or would you consider yourself a little more of a development firm? I mean, I know you're tech heavy and all that as well, but I mean, like, what do you see yourself as?
I think that's changed dramatically in the last 5 years. I'd say in 2015, we were really pushing towards being a design and creative agency. And I think now where we stand, especially the last 18 months, that is a huge part of it. But I think we're much more squarely in the middle, with development playing a major role in it. A lot of
Yeah.
data work, a lot of complex websites that need more than just a modern or fancy design. Really good content organization is very important lately, and some of our projects are building under the hood stuff for search engines and structured data. That stuff gets really interesting.
Now, you mentioned structured data. So, like, I know you guys do a lot of work with one of our open source projects in the community called 2SXC, or Too Sexy, as a lot of people affectionately call it. But tell me a little bit about how that is a part of your thought process when you approach a website. I mean, is that always a component, or is it just depends, or what? How does that play a role? And you might want to explain structured content to those that may not know what structured content is.
Wow, me trying to explain structured content. It's one of those under the hood things that people mostly don't see, but the most obvious one people hear about or run into is Open Graph. So Facebook, when you post a URL to a website, Facebook wants that tile, that card, to look nice. They have a certain size for the photo and the headline and then the little bit of text that they put in play. Those used to just kind of be plucked off the website willy-nilly, and they used to try really hard to figure it out. But nowadays, that information's under the hood. It's called Open Graph. If you go look at the view source of a page, you can go find it nowadays. But anyhow, that's a good example of structured data, but there's a lot more to it. Google's using it now in microdata formats and all these schema.org references that change every 3 weeks, by the way. And putting that information underneath can really enhance search engine results, which is important to not all, but quite a few of our clients lately. We have some businesses where they got really exhausted with the world of AdWords and spending money for clicks and stuff. And we've tended to lean much more towards the organic search. And we got really good at taking the key phrases for how they wanted to be found out there, or what they thought their customers were searching for, and finding the different ways to make those pages on the site and customized landing pages get them into the search results, get them in the top 10. I mean, one of the ones I'm most proud of is the fact that we locally, I personally fought to get us with the phrase website design Champaign, with Accuraty coming up first. I did it in 2012, and other than a few weeks, we have not lost our #1 position ever since then.
No, it's
And that's
fantastic.
against some really local talented companies with some very different people working there. And it's anyhow, kind of proud of that.
Yeah. So how does specifically Too Sexy fit into that equation
Yeah.
a bit?
Actually, I got to give credit to Aaron Lopez, who was one of your previous interview people. He put together a little open graph sample in Too Sexy, and we liked it so much we kind of took it apart, put it back together, added JSON LD, expanded the open graph stuff, and we've just very recently built it into a tool that's already in 3 websites, putting structured data under the hood and giving the users, because of how easy Too Sexy can make things, the ability to edit the information and add it if it's needed to just about any page on the site. It's still probably should be considered alpha, but it's coming along quickly, and it's a lot of fun to work on too.
See, people, that's what I'm talking about. This community, I mean, here it is. Jeremy heard Aaron Lopez say something about Open Graph, and Aaron Lopez did a little blog just because he wanted to share the goodness with everybody that he had been figured out, or a video. I can't remember what he did. Maybe he did both. And then he came on and we did a little interview. He talked us through all that and gave us a walkthrough of how to do it. And then here it is. Somebody picked up on that and made it better for their purposes, you know? So it's like, it's just, we just keep feeding each other. So like, come on, jump in the pool. The water's fine. Let's have a good time here. So Jeremy, let's I'm gonna get off the website there for just a little bit and just chat a little bit. I kind of did it in backwards. I was going to talk a little bit about DNN and stuff. Oh yeah, your Ducky. You did you talk about your Ducky when you were talking about the company?
No,
You got to talk about the Ducky. You got to tell me about the Ducky.
well, it's got a just short, interesting story. There was an article years ago. I forget, someone famous wrote it, but it was talking about code review. And one of the things I picked up from the article, actually, it wasn't me. It was an ex-employee here, was that you didn't actually need to talk to another human sometimes. You just needed to talk to someone. So we ended up with all of us have these rubber duckies at our desk. And if we wanted to, you can sit there and talk the problem through with your rubber ducky. And it's fascinating and amazing because most of the time you'll arrive at the solution about 2/3 of the way through explaining it to the rubber ducky, because the things you say sometimes have the solution right there in front of you, and you just needed to say it the right way. You know, it happens all the time when you're working on something. You show someone where you're stuck and how you got there, and
It's like,
before they
oh,
can
there
say
it is.
anything, like, oh, I got it now.
The reason I'm giggling a little bit is that, well, I had no idea, for one, that asking, pressing you about the Ducky was going to lead to such a profound technique, a method that people could use. But that's really cool. But I'm giggling because I was just having this conversation with another member of the community. Gosh, I think it was yesterday. Actually, we have this conversation often that we'll just explain something to each other, and in the process, we figure out our own, thing. Sometimes it's the other person that sees, the problem, but so many times just verbalizing it and walking through like you were explaining to someone, whether there's a human there or a ducky, or the
Or
air.
new ideas come about. Light bulbs go off all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually fantastic. Now I'll never not think about your ducky when it comes to doing that. Now, do you take it into bath time as well? Okay, that's too much information. I'm sorry.
CMO, yes, okay.
Oh man, like to have fun. So, like, what is it that's exciting you about the community these days, or DNN platform? Is there anything that's like standing out to you right now?
Yeah, DNN itself, the progress that they've been making towards what's eventually going to be version 10, there's so many things happening that are useful. I mean, there's been some odd discussions about whether or not DNN will ever be a .NET Core project, and that's probably never going to happen. But the way exists right now, and the way the community has come back and taken over the project since DNN Core pulled back from it all, is literally fantastic. It has made it fun and interesting. It's made it an excellent solution. Performance has gone through the roof. Bugs have gotten fixed. It's really amazing what's going on out here. And then you add to that the community itself and products like Too Sexy, which have added kind of a Swiss Army knife of tools to what we can do. And it just got really fun again.
It is. It's I've actually been in the community since it started, and I remember back in the early days when things were just amazing. It was the biggest, and awesomest, community and platform and all this. I mean, this is back before really, we had the days of GitHub and these Slack tools and stuff like that. We were all kind of talking through forums and stuff like that. But it was, man, exciting. Everybody was dreaming up new ideas and new ways to do things. And, that fizzled for a while. And I mean, gosh, Jeremy, even to the point to where a lot of people were asking, well, is DNN dying, or is the community dying? And I mean, there was some evidence that kind of led us to that thought process, or made us question. But for those that have stuck around, you can't not see the resurgence now. The
Yeah.
upswing, and I don't know, the excitement, and even people that were involved way back in the day. I've seen a few of them come back around. That they've been kind of
Yeah.
watching, and that's exciting. It's exciting seeing. My gosh, we had a lot of new blood at the latest DNN Summit, which was a virtual conference.
I was just
You
going to bring
attended
that
that,
up.
right?
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. The feeling from that conference and the number of people that showed up, even the people that have been around for a while, were surprised at how much was going on there, the types of presentations, and how new everything felt around.
Was there anything at that conference that was a big takeaway for you, beyond just the general excitement and stuff like that, or any new interesting content or conversations or anything like that kind of stuck out?
I've slept a few times, but since then I don't remember, man.
It's
But
been a
no,
minute.
there was quite a bit. I mean, it was exciting seeing Daniel Metler's presentation. He really did all of that Angular stuff in a way that just didn't even seem possible before, and he solved every darn thing and demoed it. And it's a great little app to look at and learn about architecture and how things work. I was really impressed by that.
That's cool. So there was everything really there, from geeky stuff like that all the way up to like marketing stuff and design kind of content. It was kind of cool. Well, Jeremy, I don't want to keep it too late tonight or anything, and I want to kind of wrap things up a bit. But like, if you were to run into someone new that was looking to build websites, or have a back end for a mobile app or something like that, and you knew that they had not heard of DNN, like, what would you say to them, to encourage them to check it out and all that? I mean, what would be with your words of wisdom to them, or how would you approach that?
It's all just by showing off. The big thing we run into is people don't know about the technology. One of our biggest secrets is, I would tell you that 80 to 90% of our customers are completely unaware that their website is DNN. They have
Hmm.
no idea. But when you get to demo it and show off what can happen, what it can do, what we can do with it and bring to the game, it gets really impressive really fast. We win people over very easily. Usually takes a monitor and some talking and some demoing, but that tends to be pretty easy. And DNN really shines, especially when you have such weird stuff going on in the world. I mean, WordPress is really interesting, and I don't think we should spend much time talking about it, but it's an interesting place. There's people who demand WordPress, and then you go show them the new Gutenberg interface, and I actually had one person say, well, that's not WordPress, that's not what I know. Yes, actually it is.
Exactly.
Building and find out they only ever saw WordPress with Divi, so they don't understand what this Elementor thing is. And it's almost like there's this set of 4 or 5 products there, and it's confusing for people, and they don't know what WordPress means anymore. And then you get into the hacking, and okay, so I'm going to get off that subject now. But DNN, it's the Swiss Army knife thing I mentioned before. That's the
Yeah.
big deal for us, and we have lots of good things to show off. And I'm hard pressed lately to find something that DNN doesn't do well, with a little
Hmm.
bit of effort sometimes, but usually right out of the box.
That's great. So, like, how would people get in touch with you or your company if they were looking to engage potentially with you in a project or anything? Well, what is the best way for them to reach
Slack would be great, but no. Reach out to the website. We answer the phone, probably at least 9 hours a day. A real human's going to pick up the phone. Emails, you can reach us at info@accuraty.com, like most companies. There's a form on the website. You can get to us from there.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's good. And you mentioned Slack. I probably should, or we should mention what we're talking about. I mean, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but a lot of people may not even know about it. I know there's a lot of people in it, but there's multiple Slack workspaces out there related to the DNN community, but there's one in particular that's a great resource to go to and get involved for just general helping others with things, and that's Open Help. It's DNN Open Help, but the website would be openhelp.slack.com. And it's free. Just join, and it's if you're familiar with Slack, it's easy to get set up and get involved there and participate. And then, of course, don't forget about dnncommunity.org. There's the discussion forums and all that out here, and it's a great resource for the community as well. And you can find Jeremy on openhelp.slack.com, and he's usually lingering there at the wee hours of the morning and late at night as well. So, Jeremy, I really
Hey,
appreciate
just
you.
uh,
What was that?
just pull up one of our latest projects to show off for
Yeah,
1 second?
absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. What is it?
Cool home page. Go to cuaerospace.com.
Did I type that right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is DNN.
Oh yeah.
You gotta love the big video backgrounds, huh? Oh, and
Yeah. We're shying away from them, but it was such an obvious choice here. But they're a
so
small local company that actually works in the aerospace industry, and a lot of people there overlap into the University of Illinois, and just a lot of really humbly smart people, and lots of cool stuff. I get to read about, and see cool photographs of technology.
that is cool.
Too sexy project on there is the publications. I get to really, in the upper left, click on publication.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah.
I got to really dive into the way sciencey publications are published and shared around. So the formatting here is very specific, and all the different data and DOIs, and anyhow, really interesting, and all built with Too Sexy, and lots of cool toys under the hood, making it really easy to edit and update.
Awesome. So that was all built in Too Sexy there then?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. That's great. So that's a really good case, today really for structured content, right? You had a very specific format that things needed to be in with specific data for certain fields and requirements for those, and you were able to leverage that data structure to visualize it as you needed to do that.
Yep. And 260 made it really easy, because as the data got older back into the 90s, pieces were missing or formatted differently. So there's lots of exceptions in the code that elegantly handle all that stuff and just keep it all looking good no matter what.
Yeah, 'cause that's a little bit different than some of the others I've seen more recent stuff. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Well, fantastic. I'm glad. Yeah, I should have asked you that earlier if you had a site you kind of wanted to show off and stuff. So I appreciate
And
you bringing
also,
it
it's
up.
different video every time you go to the homepage.
I like this one. I could sit there and
Yeah.
watch that for a while. Well, Jeremy, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat and introduce people, to yourself and your company, and explain a little bit about the services and how people may want to engage with you guys to do some stuff. I know there's much more you could share about all that, but I really appreciate you giving us the overview and taking the time to chat and share your skills. We're going to get you on here and to do some cool techie stuff at some point, right?
Yep, that'd be great.
Awesome. Well, everybody, I hope you have a great one. Come and join in with the fun in the DNN community. Stay up to date through the DNNcommunity.org, DNN Open Help Slack channel, DNN Platform on GitHub. If you're a coder and looking to contribute, there's also a DNN Community organization on GitHub. And Jeremy, I forgot to pull it up, but you guys actually have a GitHub presence out here as well. So you guys go check it out. It's just github.com/Accuraty. And you can see a few little projects that they've got out there that may be able to help you in your endeavors in the in the DNN space. So thanks, and I hope you have a great evening or morning, whatever it is that it is when you're watching this. How was that for professionalism, Jeremy? Any parting words?
Just, don't get hung up on OCD. It's called OCG, and it's obsessive compulsive guidance, and it's one of our business principles here. Any obsessive compulsive things can help you with data and guide you in your business.
Wow, that was fantastic. We should end on that. Okay,
I'm going to regret throwing that in there, but
no, I love it. That's awesome. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.